Hello everybody, today we're doing a video for GTA Car Kits in a 2017 Mercedes GLC, and it will be the same installation in Mercedes C-Class with slight differences of module placement. So today we're going to be installing our version 2 of our Apple CarPlay and Android Auto kit. With version 2 you get better resolution on your original screen. You will also have less wiring to do, no external microphone anymore. And now Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are supported wirelessly. You will still be able to switch to your original Mercedes system by pressing and holding the back button, so you will not lose any of the functions. Your rear view camera will still work exact same way. You can also launch Siri by pressing the hang up button on the steering wheel. So you'll be able to control Apple CarPlay or Android Auto with your original controls right here in the center console. So now we launched our Android Auto wirelessly. So as you can see how it's showing in this particular car. Again, we can control it with the original controls. And we can easily switch to the original Mercedes system. And now we're going to go ahead and show you how to install it in this particular car. So the tools that you're going to need is a T20 screwdriver, a panel removal tool. This is a hook tool. We also need a drill. And of course, you're going to need our product, which is the one we're going to install in this car. We're going to start off in the middle here by opening this compartment, and we're going to remove this silver trim piece, which also goes here. So we're going to hold the button down, and with our panel removal tool, going to get underneath here on both sides. And you pull it upwards. And at the same time, you gotta hold this button down so these two hooks are released and not holding this panel in place. Now you're gonna see two T20 Torx, which we're gonna go ahead and remove. Now we're gonna get underneath this panel here and carefully lift it up. There's two hooks there, which you have to release. And we're going to flip this panel on the side. So we're going to disconnect some connections in order to remove this panel. And first one is right here. Next connection is this one for the 12-volt socket. And you just get underneath it, push it out. There's no clip to press. Then you're going to see two more connections here. These ones have clips that you press on. And then there's one connection here at the bottom. Once all the connections have been disconnected, you can put this panel away. Now we're going to use our T20 Torx and remove these two bolts which hold the radio in place. You just unscrew it up until this point and then the lock can be released. You don't have to fully remove these two screws. So we're going to lower the locks and now you can pull the radio out. So before doing all the connections at the back of the stereo, we're going to show you what comes in the kit. So when you open it, you're going to have a basic wiring diagram. Then you have the main module, which we're going to hide under the radio. Then we have our Wi-Fi antenna for wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. These are the video cables. Then we have cable to feed the sound into the original system. We have a USB female for wired CarPlay and wired Android Auto, and it is also used to set up the initial wireless pairing. And the last part is this main harness, which we're going to start connecting at the back of the original stereo. So at the back of the stereo, we're going to press the clip here to release this quad lock connector. On some of these cars models, you're going to see that you're going to have fiber optic cable, and there is a clip underneath here. So if your car does have it, because this car doesn't have it, you would have to release it and move it to our harness. But as you can see, it doesn't have it, so you don't have to do anything to this harness. And we're also going to get to this particular wire, which underneath it says display. You're going to press on the clip and remove it. So this is the video cable that comes with our kit. So on one end it's a single connection, on the other end it's a dual connection. So we're going to take the dual connection, and this male one we will plug in to the stereo. Then we will take the female and we will plug in the original connection which we removed. We're going to take the other end, and our goal is to feed it behind the panels there and have it in the center console. So you're going to take the wire and feed it by the yellow box over there, and we're going to pull it through. Now we will take our quad lock harness that comes with our kit, and we will take the female side and we will plug in the original one. So you have to unlock this lock and put it in almost like all the way in, and only then lock it in place. Otherwise it will not make a good connection. Now we will take our end of the harness. With the lock open, we're gonna put it in, and again push it as far as we can, and only then we're gonna lock it in place. From our wiring harness, you're gonna have this wire that comes out with 2 connections. These are the ones we're also gonna feed through and have them come under the radio. Here we go. So now we have this wire and the video wire coming underneath the stereo and the center console. And at this point, you're gonna move all these wires around, put the radio back. When you're putting the radio back, make sure that the locks are unlocked, and then you push it in, and then you can screw it back in. So before connecting any of the wires to the module, you have to set the dip switches correctly at the back of the module. You have 8 here. This car has a bigger 8.4-inch display. So for this car, you're gonna set number 4 on and all of the other dip switches off. If you would have a smaller 7.3-inch display, you would have only number 5 on. So this is very important before connecting any of these wires to the module. So with the correct switch set, we're gonna connect the wires. First, we're gonna connect this power harness, then the smaller one. We're gonna take the video cable, connect it also. The next 2 wires that we have to connect is the wire for sound, which is the auxiliary wire, and also our USB female, which we're gonna wire right here into the center console. So in order to do that, we have to make a hole. So we're gonna make it over here with our drill, closer to the driver. And this car is good because you have a pocket over here, so it hides the hole, and it's fully reversible. Even if you remove everything, you will never find this hole. So we're gonna take our drill and make a hole right here. So first we'll take this end of the USB cable and feed it through. Next we will take the auxiliary wire and do the same thing. And we're gonna feed it under this panel, so whenever you're putting the original center console back, these wires not gonna be in the way. So we're gonna take the auxiliary wire and we're gonna plug it in to this adapter. That way you can plug in this adapter into the original USB connection. This is the way for our kit to feed sound through your original Mercedes sound system. So as we plugged it into number 1 here, in the original Mercedes system, you would also choose the sound of source as auxiliary USB media number 1. So these 2 wires, again, we're gonna feed underneath these panels. So the auxiliary wire, we will connect to the harness side. Now we will take this end from the USB cable and plug it in to the port labeled USB. So the last part that we have to plug into our module is this Wi-Fi antenna. So we'll plug it in. And this particular car, as you can see, the antenna has double-sided tape. I think we're gonna mount it over here. So at this point, you're gonna hide the module. And in this particular car, you have a lot of space underneath here. So put the wires here. And if the module is sitting somewhere here, you can also use some zip ties to secure it so it doesn't move around. But if you're installing this module in a C-Class, you don't have this extra space here. So you would be hiding the module over here behind this carpet. So you can stick your finger through, and if you pull the carpet to the side, there's all this space here where you would put the module instead. So you do the exact same installation, but you would feed the wires through this opening. It goes directly right there. So it's easy to feed the wires and keep the module in the C-Class in this spot. So now we will secure the radio in place. So now we're going to connect the center console back, and it's just a matter of plugging in all the original connections. With all the connections connected, we will take this console, and first we will insert the 2 hooks right here. And then we will work our way down to clip everything in place. So as you can see, if these 2 holes line up, that means everything is sitting correctly. And if they're not lining up, then you would have to check where this panel is not sitting correctly. So before securing these 2 bolts and putting the panel back, we're going to test everything to make sure we don't have to take it apart again. So we're going to turn the ignition on. In the source of sound, we will choose Media 1 interface. So that way, as we showed earlier, our kit is plugged in there into the USB number 1. And now we will take our lightning cable and plug it in female end. We will take our iPhone. As you can see, it's charging. And now automatically switches to CarPlay. So when you're first testing it, you're gonna test with the wire, but you will get prompts on your phone in the settings that will ask you if you want to use CarPlay and you want to use it wirelessly. So you would agree to all the prompts, and then you would not need to use this wire. And it will be the same thing if you're using Android Auto. So the things that you're gonna check is the sound, most importantly, and that the controls are working with the original controls. So the sound is working. So at this point you can shut off the ignition, and we're gonna continue with finishing off this installation. So we'll put these 2 bolts back. Now we'll put this piece back. So again, you're gonna press the button. So at this point the installation is complete, and now your vehicle has Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and nothing is visible here, and the only thing is the 2 wires that are in the center console here. One's for sound and one is for the USB. So again, this was a video for GTA Car Kits. I hope you liked it, and we'll see you next time.